Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the View from Here again. And tonight we have a guest. Oh, I know what you want. We do have a guest. I'll introduce him in a moment because first Mike wants to do his happy thoughts. I don't know if he explained this to you, but he has a happy thought, Joe, or you saw it when you saw
Yes,
the
I've seen
show.
him.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So we're going to go through
Well,
that
Nick
whole.
virtually picked this one. I'm going to spin the happy thoughts around my finger, and he's going to tell me when to stop.
Oh,
Okay.
geez.
Okay. That I'm going to presume that okay was a stop. So
That was a
this
stop.
is Nick's happy thought. Nick, it couldn't have been more trite. Kindness
Oh.
matters.
What?
Kindness matters.
Well, I
Kindness
believe
matters.
that, though. I
Yeah,
do
he's
believe that.
kind enough to come on the podcast. So
That is
I know.
true. And let's tell the audience why Nick is on the podcast. He's got
Okay.
a very interesting life, but
Okay, well, Nick is going to explain it to you yourself, but he dislikes Donald Trump. The words Michael used was he hates Donald Trump, but he is voting for Donald Trump nonetheless. And we're bringing him on here just for him to explain why.
Thank you.
thank him. So thank
There are
forget
yeah,
his dislike of him.
thanks. There are numerous reasons why I don't like him, and there are numerous reasons why I'm voting for him.
Okay.
Like, the number one reason that I decided to vote for him, I was actually going to vote for Robert Kennedy Jr. He was my plan all along, was to vote for him. When
Okay.
he dropped out of the race and joined Trump, I was the thing I like most about Robert Kennedy Jr. is that his family hates him, and that's what I love most about him. So, to me, that was the guy for me.
Oh
You know,
God!
if the Kennedys hate him, he's for me. So, so
That's one reason I like Trump too. Is the rhinos hate him.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. No, I
rhinos
understand
are what they used to call the neocons.
Nick, you've just managed to prove that you belong here.
that. Well, so and thinking about that and watching Kennedy talk about different things, as far as I saw him the other day, he did this whole. It wasn't just him; it was a bunch of people, and they were talking about drug addiction and how people came out of it and all that kind of stuff. And the stuff that he was talking about just amazed me, and he was terrific.
Yeah.
And my hope is that Donald Trump will allow him to be what he wants to be in Trump's administration.
I
And
think he's going to do that,
I
actually.
think so too. I think he honestly likes him. So
Mhm.
if he does that, I'm good with that.
First of all,
And so,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
First of all, Kennedy was absolutely politically courageous.
Yeah.
He broke all the rules, and
Oh yeah,
he was
absolutely.
out of his own position, and he chose to support Trump. I
Yeah.
think that is amazing.
So I thought if he could do it, then I should probably take a closer look at it and look within myself as to see if I can overlook certain things about the man as a human being and look at him more as a presidential candidate and someone who could help me and my countrymen. That to me is what it's all about. And if I feel that he can do that, then he has my full support at this point. And
Can I give you
I think
Good.
a working example of what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay. You and I are friends.
Yes.
Yet I'm absolutely despicable and deplorable, and yet you choose to be my friend. Thank you very much.
I'm shocked Mike has a friend.
Now you make it easy, Mike. He's a good friend. So in any case, there was that, and another thing is that I looked at, and which we all do every 4 years. I think most of us do this. We look back and say, "Were we better off 4 years ago, or are we better off now?" And quite frankly, there's no question about it. I was much better off 4 years ago.
Mhm.
I was at the point recently where I was considering filing for bankruptcy.
Whoa.
Ooh.
And yeah, so that was a big deal for me. So looking at all that kind of stuff and looking at um, the whole thing with the debates and all that, and okay, that the Biden debate was just kind of sad, actually. But I didn't like either one of them anyway, Biden or Harris. So there was no way I was going to vote for Harris, by the way.
Right.
So it was
I mean,
either
well, no Democrat gave her a single vote, and she's
no,
the nominee.
no, and all they did was lie to us about um, there was nothing wrong with Biden for so long. There was nothing wrong with Biden. Just
Yeah.
so show you they're just full of shit.
You have a medical background. You
I do.
Yeah. So the thing is, when you were watching in the past few years Biden degenerate, weren't you very much aware of the fact that he was,
Oh, I could see it clearly. Anybody could see, medical background or not. You have to, if you know people, you know that he was really slipping away pretty quickly.
I
So
know some people, very intelligent people, in fact, normally, who really thought that he was okay.
yeah,
They listened and believed to all the lies of the mainstream media. The
yeah,
mainstream media.
no, very sad. It's
I
very
know.
sad, but they tried to pull one over on us, and I didn't appreciate that either. So that
Well,
was
most
just
of these
another reason.
people are voting against Trump, not so much for Harris as against Trump.
Right.
And you when you said you didn't like the man and so forth, I'm going to send you something. I don't know if it'll change your mind about him as a person or not.
Huh?
But I'm going to send you a short interview that he did. He was recently on Gutfeld,
Mhm.
but I think it was the next day or 2 days later. He did an interview with Tyrus.
Yes.
You know Tyrus?
Yes.
Okay. And it was very interesting. And Tyrus admitted during the show that he apologized to Trump. He said he had him all pegged all wrong.
All right.
And I'm not going to get into details. I'll let you watch the short video at your leisure, and then you can make up your own mind.
It knows that I didn't like Trump for the longest time.
Yeah.
Before 2016. But I voted for.
Yeah, well, you didn't have any taste. Now you've developed some taste.
I voted against Hillary. That's who I voted for.
Right. And I did the same
This
thing.
is what you're doing, basically. You're voting against a communist takeover, a globalist takeover to keep our country. I mean, Trump is not the conservative. He's always been a
socialist. I did vote for Trump the first
but
time.
He's a constitutionalist.
Right. Yeah. So, look, as far as talking about the man, I don't like the man. I'll tell you a little story that happened years ago. Trump was driving down, I guess, towards Atlantic City. His limousine, his chauffeur was driving him down to Atlantic City. They were on the Garden State Parkway. And he had a blowout, the driver.
Yeah.
Well, there was a little, some guy in a little red pickup truck behind them who stopped and saw that this limousine was having trouble, not knowing anything about who was in it or anything.
Right.
And he went over to the driver. He said, everything okay? He said, no, I got a flat. So he said, well, pop the trunk. I'll help you fix it. So he did. And as he was leaving, the window rolls down in the back, and it was Donald Trump. And he calls the guy over to him. He says, I just want to thank you for what you did. He said, is there anything I could do for you? So he said, he says, you know what? He said, just as a kind of a goof, if you could send my wife like a dozen roses, he said, that would just make her day. It would be great. So he said, all right, give me your address and all that. Right. So I guess the next day it was, the wife is home and she gets these dozen roses, and there's a little card in it signed Donald Trump. And what the card said is that your mortgage is now paid off.
Yeah, no, I heard that story. I didn't know about the roses part. Yeah. But I do know that he paid the man's mortgage
so
off.
that was something that I thought, wow, what a nice thing to do. What a nice guy this was. And that was years ago. And then, things turned me off in the meantime, but my mother loved him, and I loved my mother, so maybe this is a kind of a thing for her too. I don't know. So, but in any case, I've come a long way in my thoughts, and I really do believe that I'm going to be better off once he's elected on November 5th.
And you don't believe he's a Nazi, I guess.
I do.
You don't believe he's racist, I don't think.
I do not believe he's a racist. No.
Well, yeah, and everybody who has seemed to meet him seems to feel that he treats them well as another person, not just a constituent or or a number or a face that he's going to forget. And he actually remembers people's names, which is amazing for a guy that
Right.
age.
Yeah.
You know?
And as a businessman, that is so important. And he's probably
Yes.
done that his whole life. So I think that's,
yeah.
Well,
Well, you know who his pastor was when he was growing up?
no.
Every Sunday they went down from Queens to Manhattan to the church. I forget the name of the church offhand, but where, oh my God, Norman Vincent Peale preached.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
The
okay.
guy who wrote Power of Positive
Sure.
Thinking. This
Yep.
is why, this explains why Trump thinks that everything is possible. He doesn't think anything's impossible.
Right. Right.
And that's where he got it from.
Well,
A lot of people don't know that.
Lou Reed
Yeah.
learned a lot from that book. As a matter of fact, he wrote a song called "The Power of Positive Drinking."
Ah.
He
Lou
did.
Reed, Lou Reed, not the
Power of
black Lou Reed, the white Lou Reed.
Right, Lou Reed.
White Lou Reed. I saw a black Lou Reed one time leaving a Johnny Mathis concert I'd gone to with my ex-girlfriend at Carnegie Hall, and it was I was shocked. He was a little guy, but he was smoking like this, and I'm like, looks gay to me. And my girlfriend, who has a lot of gay friends, oh yeah, he's gay. And then after the concert, we saw him walking down the street. He was mincing, and at the same time, every few steps, he was skipping. Across the so he was all happy that he saw Johnny Mathis.
I'm sure.
Well,
but anyway, as you can see, we get off track on this podcast.
Let's get back on track by letting you know why this is really taking place. This is really taking place because I actually bought his vote for $5, and that's the reason.
I didn't accept it, actually.
Which is illegal. You rewarded him $5 for saying that he was going to vote for Trump.
I wouldn't accept it, though. Because I had already made up my mind. I just didn't tell him.
He is a good friend. He's keeping you out of jail.
Yes, that's right.
Although Jack Smith won't care. And he'll put pressure on him to get you in jail.
Yeah.
Anyway, I may as well announce this while you're here, Nick.
Yeah.
If you got a couple of minutes.
Sure.
All right. The gentleman we interviewed the other night, Jamie Miller, he is having a live stream on election night from 6 to 10, and he invited Michael and I to be part of the guests. He's got a guest lineup, some politicians and some people in the entertainment industry and so forth. And he's asking if I want that we can live stream it on our podcast, which I'm going to do. He's not on Rumble yet, so I would probably live stream it on Rumble. I'm going to try that tonight to see how that works, because I don't want to get to Tuesday and then be unable to do it. If we are unable to do it, no problem. We'll be part of the people visiting his live stream. So we'll be doing that no matter what.
That'd be great. I think that's terrific.
The power went off today, huh?
Yeah. Just out of the clear blue.
How long?
You're not in California. What the heck?
Not in North Carolina either.
Let me tell you something. We could do. If I ever come back as a guest, I'll do a whole show on PP&L if you'd like. Because, man, I have been so screwed. Pennsylvania Power and Light.
Oh, okay. Wait. Anytime you want to do that. You want to do that like shortly, like sometime next week if you want.
Let me tell you, since April, I don't think I could go through the whole thing. I can't tell you the whole story because since April, I've been calling them constantly and trying to find out the reason why my bills went from, in the winter it started, they went from, say, $90 a month to $354 a month.
Whoa. Oh, you know what? No, go ahead.
Oh, they couldn't explain to me, no matter who I spoke to, no matter how many hours I was on the phone with them, they couldn't explain to me why that happened.
It finally came down
to you have to send $35 and we'll come out and check your meter.
Jeez.
So I said, okay, maybe there's something wrong with my meter. I sent the $35 in on August 4th, and no one ever came. September 30th, I called and said, I called once a week to find out when they were coming. And he said, well, we haven't scheduled yet, but you'll be scheduled in the next couple of days. I said, okay. Man. The other day I called. I said, I don't care what you have to do. Cancel that thing with the meter and give me my $35 back. and they said, "Well, you've already been credited the $35." I said, "No, I haven't. I just got the bill yesterday. There's no credit on there for $35."
Right.
So the woman said to me, "Well, it may not show up on your bill." I said, "Well, then as far as I'm concerned, I haven't been credited. So if you
Exactly.
can send me something that says I've been credited, then that's fine. If not, I want to check in the mail this week."
You're going to get a handwritten note. That's what you.
Oh,
You know,
God.
it's amazing how you buy something, right?
Yeah.
And they'll charge you right away. Take it out of your bank account right away,
Yeah.
or put it on your credit card right away. And then if you say, no, this was a mistake, I want the money back.
Right.
It takes 3 to 5 days
Oh,
at
yeah.
least,
Yep.
if you're lucky, to get the money back.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
ridiculous.
So I
But you know who can explain? You know who can explain why you're having these brownouts and so forth?
Who?
Kamala Harris. She'll say Trump.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not accepting that. I'm not
I think
accepting
it's
that.
Gavin Newsom asking for power for
Could be for California. Yeah, no, could be. Yeah,
you have an
could be.
electric car now? Is that what the problem is?
So anyway, so I'm dealing with that, and it's just what a mess. What a terrible thing.
The I've had one power outage here since I've been here all these years, which is
Wow.
so radical from because Nick lives in a rural space and there's trees all over the place, and so during the summer you're going, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
But when the wind blows in the winter, you're not too happy.
No. Well, you remember that one winter that we were out for a couple of days, like 30-something hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrible.
And then the various snowstorms where the snow was taller than I was. But and the thing is that Nick has a 4-wheel drive. I was driving around the Yaris, trying to go up and down those hills. One time I couldn't even do it.
We had a pretty big hill coming up here too. But it's
you don't have a generator. You didn't have generators then.
No, I don't have a generator. I thought
they're
about
expensive.
getting
They're not cheap.
Yeah, no, I know. I said, I could deal with anything like that.
My son, a few years ago, when we had that one hurricane that took everything out, he had a generator. So
yeah,
he had it at his house for a while. Then he took it over to his ex-wife's house, brought it up here to his ex-wife's house for a couple of days because his kids are here during the week at school. And gave it to them. Then he took it from there. Her brother got her a generator. He's a plumber, and he's into plumbing and heating. Got her a generator. So he took his generator and he took it over to his mom's. Now he's installing it. He's having trouble getting the connection. He does it. He gets it hooked up. It starts running. All of a sudden, I was out there near that time. Yeah, and because I'd driven over to talk to him. He comes out of no, the lights suddenly go on. He steps out of the garage. He goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He spent like an hour trying to get it running.
Yeah,
he was having problems.
Yeah, that's
and as soon as he got it running, boom.
Yeah,
so because they were out, and we were out of power for a few days here. My building, thank God, they had a generator, so I only lost power for maybe a few hours. That's it.
Now you're in New Jersey, right, Roy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm behind enemy lines, as I like to say.
My niece lost power the moment the storm hit down in Florida, and she had to wait 10 days to get her power back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, my cousin was lucky. My cousins were lucky, I should say. The hurricane went right past them.
Right.
I think the edge of the hurricane was supposed to hit 50 meters away from my cousin's house.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I think the real hurricane was FEMA. They're the ones who came in and made everything horrible.
Oh.
Yeah. Devastating.
Yeah, I'm from the government. I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Terrible people.
Anyway. All right. Before we go, I'm gonna put this in the show notes anyway. But here are the people that are going to be on the live stream on Tuesday.
Well,
Jennifer Bash, Chad Turnbull, and Jamie Miller are hosting it, and they're going to be joined by some guests, including Morgan Ortegas from Sirius XM Radio and Fox News, State Senator Joe Gruters, Florida GOP Chairman Evan Power, Sarasota County Commissioner candidate Teresa Mast, and others that he'll be announcing soon, including officials from Georgia and Nevada.
Where's Senator Grutter from?
Who?
Senator Grutter, you said?
Gruters. Gruters.
And where is he from?
State senator. Well, it must be Florida because he's down in Florida.
Yeah.
And they're going to be doing a studio in Sarasota, Max Studio, Sarasota. And, well, they'll have other guests, and as they come in, I'll put them in the show notes. I should be able to edit the show notes to add them.
Smoke, man. What is going on?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't. But no, that's I'm very happy.
You know what? He just stopped smoking, 3 years ago?
Over 3 years now.
More than 3 years. Yeah.
I stopped 16, 17 years ago.
Well, I stopped many years.
I'm not a little bitch who complains about people who still smoke.
I was hanging out with Nick. When we
I never was, even when I stopped smoking then.
It was the best thing in the world. But
I was probably the worst influence on him because I smoke like a chimney.
Yeah.
And, he had to stay away from me when when he quit smoking. He couldn't really come over quite as much. And, and I tried not to smoke in front of him, but then I said, fuck it, I want a cigarette.
Yeah, that's it. Fuck it.
But the thing is, Nick, thank you very much for coming to the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
We gave him an hour.
And I hope this serves as a lesson to other people who don't like Donald Trump. But
it just goes to show you a very important thing. Kindness matters.
Whatever.
Yes, it does. You're right.
Gag me with a spoon.
No, wait. Congratulations. I think it's very, very good for you guys that you're going to be part of that. I think that's
I'm kind of excited.
And I hope it opens more doors for you.
I'm nervous about it.
I'm going to be sitting there for 4 hours going, oh my God, what's going on here?
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Anyway, good to meet you, Nick. And I hope to see you again. You want to tell that story about the power company longer?
Yeah. One of these days I'll tell you the whole story.
And some of his stories being he owned an ambulance company, and he's got that kind of experience. I mean, they made TV shows about his work, so he's got a couple of stories.
What do you do?
I have many stories about that.
He was
that sounds like something good, something different than what we do most of the time is political. We just curse out people we don't like.
Yeah.
No, I
we
started
used
out
to have a maligning moment where at the end of the show we'd malign somebody for a minute.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Yeah, but now I just malign Mike. That's it.
We stopped doing that because kindness matters.
That's right. Stay with that. You
like to bring it back to that.
But there's a lot of things that went on during my my years in the ambulance business, and some of them were good, some were funny, some were sad. But,
no, that sounds like it would make a good podcast. I think that would make a good hour at least, and maybe we could have more than one over time.
My office.
He said it's a very bad example of smoking on the show. I'm sorry.
I know.
That's right. The kids don't watch this show anyway.
You know what? When I was a kid going to the doctor, my doctor would be there taking my pulse with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. That's the way it used to be. So
I remember that. I remember going to the barber shop. Everybody in the barber shop, including the barber, while he's cutting your hair, was smoking.
Oh yeah, the ashes were falling your head and everything. And
he was crazy though. That guy. He was telling us one time he'd gone to the hospital because he had a heart attack.
Yeah.
He said when he woke up, he wanted a cigarette, and the doctor said, "No, you just had a heart attack." I don't give a shit. I want a goddamn cigarette. He made such a fuss. They gave him a cigarette in the hospital.
I don't blame him.
So
when I was in the ambulance company, just a quick story. I was on the second floor. My office was on the second floor, and I was facing really kind of the bay where Staten Island Ferry is.
Okay.
So I had a full view of everything that went on, and I'll tell you the whole story at some other point. I'll come on again and I'll tell you the whole story. But that was a very sad day, and a lot of things happened and stuff.
You talking about 9/11?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty crazy. But anyway, thank you for the invitation. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
being
coming
on.
on, and
We're gonna
thank
ask
everybody.
anybody else. I mean, like, look at us.
I thank everybody who's watching. We now have more viewers than we had just a week ago, thanks
Terrific.
to Jamie coming on.
Great.
So we will see you people on the live stream on election night next Tuesday night. Before that, Mike and I may do another podcast anyway.
Who could
You may
say?
lose some viewers after my appearance, so you got to be
You
prepared
what?
for that. You might lose some viewers after my appearance, so be
Oh yeah,
prepared for
that's
that.
right.
I know
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when Trump went on
be spoiled.
Gutfeld, he had the highest ratings ever. All right, guys. Have a good night,
Okay.
everyone. Please
Thanks a lot.
rate and share the show, please. And we'll see you next time on The View from
Okay.
Here.
Thank you,
Good night.
guys. Good night.
Kill it.